amide group, or the amino group is just being moved from an amino acid to a keto acid. And once it's moved to a keto acid, it forms an amino acid, another keto acid is formed. But in deamination, we are generating ammonia. And ammonia is highly toxic. Then it has to be converted to an untoxic amino acid, that is glutamine. Okay. So remember, a lot of ammonia is being generated from glutamate or glutamic acid. That is the main amino acid that produces ammonia. Then it has to be converted to an amino acid again. Then the ammonia is converted into glutamine. Then subsequently, the glutamine is sent to the liver and it releases ammonia that is then converted into urea. Okay, so ultimately what we are saying is that the ammonia that is being generated in this process will be converted to urea. It doesn't just get converted into urea directly like that. It first of all must be changed into glutamine, and once it's changed into glutamine, it's now transported to the liver, which means the urea cycle happens in the liver. What would be other sources of ammonia? As we've seen, the main source of ammonia is deamination. Transamination would not necessarily. Transamination might not be a very major source of ammonia, but the main source of ammonia, of course, is deamination. One is deamination. These others are minor sources of ammonia, but the main source of ammonia is deamination, and the deamination majorly glutamine. Glutamate, not glutamine, glutamate or glutamic acid. But when you break down purines and pyrimidines, of course, those are nucleic acids. If you break them down, then you're also going to get ammonia. From diet, of course, dietary amines and endogenous monoamines. And the other key source is urease. Bacteria called urease is usually present in the intestine. Then when urease mainly breaks down urea, so again it's another source of ammonia. But you want to make ammonia less toxic, converting it into urea again. Then glutamine by the action of renal and intestinal glutaminase. So glutaminase in the kidney and in the intestines will produce ammonia. So you remember, ammonia is generated from deamination in most cases. Then ammonia is converted into glutamine, transported to the liver, and then once it's in the liver, then again glutamine is broken down to release ammonia. So again, of course, that requires an enzyme called glutamine breaks down glutamine, so then you have ammonia being released. And I believe the other molecule that is left should be glutamic acid. So these are the sources of ammonia. So then how is it disposed? Because we've agreed that it's a very toxic molecule. So it forms urea and then it's excreted. We've also seen that it forms glutamine, especially in the brain, muscle, liver, and kidney. Then once it's in the liver, glutamine, of course, is converted into glutamate. Okay. Glutamate, then, of course, in a release ammonia. Then ammonia can also be disposed in form of ammonium through urine. You know that this is the iron form. The iron form of ammonia becomes ammonium, that it can be excreted in urine. So majorly, of course, it's converted to urea, then it's excreted. That's the major way of disposing ammonia. But it can also be converted into glutamine, less toxic. Then ultimately in the liver, it's converted to glutamate. And then ammonia is released, and the ammonia then becomes ammonium ionized form, which can again be disposed in urine. Okay, so as much as ammonia is toxic, it can also be utilized, especially in the synthesis of some compounds. For instance, glutamine, glutamate. Then it also can be ionized to become ammonium, which is key in the maintenance of the acid-base balance in the body. That's for sure. It can also synthesize other compounds such as the non-essential amino acids. It can synthesize purines, pyrimidines, amino sugars, and amino acids such as asparagine can still be synthesized from ammonia. That can happen. Okay, so much as it's toxic, it has its functions. As we've seen, it can create other molecules, but again, it can also be involved in the balance of the acid-base balance in the body. That can happen also. When you have excess ammonia in the body, then of course it gets into the blood. That scenario will be referred to as hyperammonemia. And hyperammonemia is a scenario whereby you're having serum levels that are greater than 20 micrograms per liter of ammonia. That happens, then of course it is dangerous to the body and it's directly toxic to the central nervous system. Yeah, most of the people in comas as a result of accumulation of ammonia in the body. So hyperammonemia is not a good thing. So of course, then it intoxicates the blood and causes what we call ammonia toxicity or ammonia intoxication. So individuals with hyperammonemia would present with things like tremor, slurred speech, blurred vision. They are in most cases in comas, cerebral edema, of course, the vomiting, and it can lead to death. So, of course, some of the causes of hyperammonemia would be acute liver disease, hepatitis, that is viral, liver cirrhosis as a result of alcoholism, of course, other hepatitis, inflammation of hepatocytes, of course, biliary obstruction, ischemia, and hepatotoxins. All these can lead to, of course, inflammation of the hepatocytes. And we know that this particular process of the urea cycle is happening in the liver. A lot of ammonia is being released in the liver, having gotten there in form of glutamine in the first place. So the organ that is most affected by ammonia toxicity is the liver, of course. But we also have individuals that are born with hyperammonemia. They have congenital hyperammonemia, and that usually results if they have a genetic deficiency in enzymes involved in the urea cycle. So some individuals maybe have mutations in genes that are code for enzymes that are involved in the urea cycle. They'll definitely have congenital hyperammonemia. There are people who are born with these conditions, but some are also acquired, as we've seen. Things like hepatitis, liver cirrhosis are definitely going to cause hyperammonemia.